and thank you, Talia, for the invitation. Today, dear colleagues and friends, I stand in front of you not as the Minister of Health, but as a physician, as your friend, as your colleague who had a big burden on my shoulders trying to address the current crisis that we are all witnessing. And what I would like to do is I would like to share with you some of my observations that pertain to the subject that we are gathered here to address today. When I joined Rafiq Hariri University Hospital back in 2015, it was a very troubled institution. It was passing through its own crisis. And at that time, there were a lot of challenges facing the new administration as I came. One of the biggest issues that worried me at the time is trying to lead a change in that institution. Who will do it with me? Because it's very clear for anybody who has led a change process that without the right people, you cannot really achieve much. A lot of people talk about resources, the availability of money, or having the right strategy to be able to implement the change. But I think that people who have passed through change process tell you that the key part in any change is people. And I was really worried at that time that taking over that troubled institution, there wouldn't be the right people to help me on that journey. I was wrong, luckily, and I was able to find a lot of people who were very good and had, for some reason, unknown to me, had decided to stay in that institution. And along the years, we were able to turn that institution into the Rafiq Hariri that you all know that was fighting COVID in 2020 and so on. And during that journey, one of the things that comes back to my mind is something that I learned in business school. And that's when they asked Peter Drucker, one of the gurus of management, about the role of business strategy. At Harvard Business School, strategy is something extremely important, and business strategy. And the question was, how does it relate to culture? And his answer was that culture eats business strategy for breakfast every morning. It's always the culture that, in my opinion, makes the big difference. Move forward a few years, and I find myself at the Ministry of Health, dealing with much bigger problems and dealing with a culture that we all know, dealing with politicians, dealing with merchants, most of the time quite greedy, dealing with hospitals who put profit in front of the public good or the health of patients, and all of the other issues that we know at the moment. Also looking at sometimes greedy physicians who want to prioritize their personal gain over supporting the patients as their Hippocratic oath mandates them to do. And I find myself going back to the original question that we always raised during our meetings in our curriculum sessions, and that is that medical school is more than just teaching people biochemistry, anatomy, physiology, medications, and the rest, which is what I went through when I was in medical school. This new addition to the curriculum that initially we thought is interesting to teach people in their learning communities about conflict management, about emotional intelligence, the bioethics courses that and the environment that I think Thalia and our rest of our colleagues enacted in our curriculum, to me now looks the essence of what education is about, let alone medical education. But specifically in our profession, without this humanistic approach, without this ethical approach, I cannot see how we have a better future, whether in our profession or in our country. And I would like to tell you some of the things that I have come to conclude concerning how to raise the ethical human being. Obviously, talking about educating the ethical human being entails an assumption, and that is that you can actually change human beings, that actually human beings can be morphed into having an ethical behavior. Because there are some theories that tell you that people have more or less sort of a fixed culture, and there are good people to start with and they will remain good, and there are bad people to start with and they will remain bad. And I'm not sure whether this is right or wrong, but I think that the attempt to be able to induce this culture of being good is something that is worth doing. So how do you achieve that? How do you get that? I think that there are several things that you need to do. The first and most important of the two things in my mind are creating the right environment. And I think that the courses and the environment that was created in our medical school and hopefully is created elsewhere in our country is extremely important to not only discuss further and reward ethical behavior. This is extremely important for us for everyone to make sure that we enforce whatever goodness is in them by making sure that there is the right environment to foster this behavior and to punish any contradicting behavior, so to speak. I think this is extremely important. But I think there is another thing that is even as important, if not more, and that is to find the right role models, where those role models are living examples of the culture, of the behavior that we want our students to be or to behave like. I think that this is something that is extremely important because it is our responsibility. It is our responsibility as senior physicians, as teachers, in my opinion, is to follow this role model behavior that we want our juniors to follow. And if we cannot give them this good example, then I think that we cannot really raise serious questions to them about their behavior in the future. And in my opinion, that at the end, we will be paying the price for not creating this ethical society that as we grow older and we need this society to support us, that society will be there when we need it. Thalia, I want to thank you really for all what you have done. I think a lot of the times, and for many students sometimes, they think that these courses are an opportunity to put more time into studying biochemistry, anatomy, and the rest. I sometimes believe that probably at their young age, they might not understand the gravity of this issue and how important it is. But let us hope that as we pass through this current crisis, and as we try, as Lebanese, to find our way out of this crisis, that we all understand more the importance of the message that we are getting here, and strive to build a better and more virtuous society. Thank you.